Morning. Um, One of the things that I know puts some people off AA through conversations I've had is there's maybe a misconception that there's some religious element to it. Uh, I've heard it called a cult before. A cult. That's a weird word to say. I've heard it called that before. Um, but I have to say there is no religion involved in AA per se. Um, there is only what we call it's what we call a higher power. You sort of accept that you're not the center of the universe. That there is something maybe higher than you in terms of um, what's in control of things. Um, it has no name. It has no denomination, or it's basically it's whatever you consider it to be. So for me, the higher power was always the meeting itself, because me on my own, I couldn't do it. I couldn't get sober alone. But when I had the power of the meeting, then and the fellowship of AA, then I succeeded. So that's what we mean, or that's how I interpret what the higher power is. Other people interpret it different ways. Some people, for them, it is God. In the traditional sense. Um, I was brought up Catholic, a Roman Catholic, from childhood, and I went to church and I was a choir boy and an altar boy and I did all that kind of business. And when I got to about 13, I started having questions. I started to think, this isn't quite adding up. So my my religious, um, I don't follow any religion, is what I'm saying. I don't, I suppose I'm an atheist. I suppose you would say, um, but there is quite an important part of this, and the important part is the serenity prayer. Now, the prayer is said at every meeting, and again, it's never for me to say this is why we do what we do or this is what this means. It's only my interpretation. I'm very clear that it's only my interpretation. But we say this serenity prayer, and it basically sort of goes, God grant me the serenity to accept things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I guess it's used to ground us in the meeting, to ask for help from the higher power that I've just spoken about, and I guess it's whatever you decide or determine it is. For me, I'm going to say this: in the earliest weeks of my getting sober or getting clean or whatever. In the very early days and weeks, I would use the serenity prayer just in my head every time I wanted a drink. Now, as soon as I thought of alcohol, as soon as I thought of going to the pub or anything like that, I said the prayer in my head, and that sort of 5 seconds to say the prayer was enough to change my or not change my thought process, but sort of divert it. It diverted me away from thinking of drinking to thinking of this is I can do this, I can stay sober. So for me, that's what it always was, and that's what I used it for. So with regard to AA and is it a religious organisation? Absolutely no, it's not. I think there is a foundation, or maybe a religious foundation, in as much as the people that founded it in the earliest days would have come from a time where religion was quite big or quite important. So there might be a little bit of it in there, but for me personally, it's not relevant. You know, you don't have to be a Christian or Jewish or Muslim or Hindu. I mean, you can be whatever you like. You are, because it happens. You know, alcoholism affects us all regardless. So what I'm trying to say is, don't let that put you off. If that is even a thing that you're concerned about, or if it's put you off in the past, then please don't let it, because all it's doing is stopping you from living a different life, a better life. And obviously, you know, that's what you want. I'm assuming that's what you want at that point. If you're going to AA, then, or if you're considering AA, or even if you're just watching this film, then I'm assuming that's where you're at in life, and you want to get straight. So, so yeah, that was just a brief one today about to sort of, you know, just explain that for anyone who might be put off by the thought of AA being some sort of cult or religious thing. It's not. It's just not. So, you know, don't let that stop you. All right. Speak to you soon.